Operation Status Quo. Operation Status Quo. Prepare to engage. Operation Status Quo. Ready to engage. Operation Status Quo. Engaged. Engaged. Oh, hold on. I hit the wrong button. Here I am. I hit the wrong button. I got to hit the camera button if you want to see my face. Well, you might not want to see my face. I like seeing my face. Hi, look at me. Hi, I see me smiling. Hey, hi. So, hey, how you guys doing out there? Hello, hello, hello to you, the beautiful people of the world. I'm here for you like I always am, because it's such a beautiful day to be here for you. It's true. I do it for you. Here's my harmonica. I gotta do like a little blues, you know? I said I come on to YouTube almost every single day. I said I come on to YouTube now, 'cause I want to make your troubles go away. Yeah, 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 yeah. All right, that's enough. That's enough. Hello, hello, I'm Pete Palma. Welcome to Operation Status Quo, where we observe the current status quo. We observe it, we learn to flow with the quo, and then we realize how to work around some of the quo that doesn't quite flow for us. You know how it goes, because not every part of the quo is going to flow. That's the whole point of the way our world is set up today, to keep us pigeonholed into small dynamics of thinking, little boxes of thinking, little boxes, like a little rat in a maze, praying to find its little piece of cheese in there somewhere. I mean, that's basically what we are in the current structure of the world. But there is good news, because the current structure of the world is collapsing. Let's give a round of applause about the current. Yeah, it's collapsing. It's going down, down, down. The world is going down, 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 down. The world is going down in a good way, You know what makes it so easy to come on here and be so nonchalant about the fact that everything is so screwed up is because I really, believe so strongly in the fact that we're spiritual, energetic beings beyond our physical body. And I always say this, I'm not looking to drop dead anytime soon, but I mean, if I did drop dead at this very moment, like, I haven't lost anything. Like, that's the thing. People are so afraid in our current world, of what's going to harm them. And, and here's the funny thing about all that too, is that at the end of the day, right? No matter what, that you're going to pass away at some point, right? Like you're not going to live forever, because that's just the dynamic of the physical life, right? You're going to die. Everything, it comes to fruition, and then everything passes on at some point. It's funny because like everything does, not even just physical bodies, right? And of course, obviously animals and plants. I mean, even structures that are built. You build a house, give it a couple hundred years, and you're going to have to probably knock it down and rebuild something new because of weather and time and everything else. It's just everything is decomposing in front of us all the time. Everything is just dying and decomposing right in front of us all the time, and it's just a matter of how long it takes for that to happen. So, you can't ever stop the progression. Everything is like born, becomes what it is. It meets that pinnacle of its whatever, and then it goes down on the downside, and then boom, it's gone, and we start fresh again. Everything is cyclical. So that's why I think what's going on in the world today is absolutely beautiful, because it is cyclical, and it's not like these things haven't happened before. Every time period, and we're here alive right now, but of course, being timeless, energetic beings that we are, we basically have lived multiple lives in multiple realities, multiple circumstances, and whatever's currently in our, three-dimensional view, as it were, are just the dynamics of the current environment. So like back in the old West or something. It was a different means or modes of transportation. Obviously, the countries were different. Back even the days before the United States was like all the states that it is. It was just like maybe more the East Coast, and then people were going out to the California way, and trying to do the gold rush. And think about all that. But life was always the same, right? During all those times, you go back into the Victorian time, or I don't know, back in Roman days, whatever you want to go back to, right? At any time period, all the human situation motivations were the same. It's always a struggle for power. There's always, struggle for finance, whatever dynamics of the culture, but they're all the same emotions and feelings. Basically, somebody, you have a friend that did something wrong to you, or you break up with a spouse, or, whatever judgments of society puts on you back, like, especially in older times, like, if a woman wasn't married by a certain age and all that, she was like, a piece of trash, so it's just like, you think about that. And it's really all the same. It's just different little ways of evoking the same realizations to always bring you back. And I'll say it all the time. It's always about bringing you back to center and the realization that we're just oneness, and that's that. Like, and a good example is, if you've never read the book or heard of the book, A Course in Miracles, I would definitely recommend taking a look at that. It's one of the, I would say, focal points, or, cornerstones, of my beliefs, basically, in the sense of each individual, we have to forgive ourselves, right? We have to forgive ourselves for believing the dream of our existence is even real, because we believe we're separate from source as these bodies. And that's really where the forgiveness has to come in. You have to forgive yourself for, even because no matter how hard you try, you can mitigate whatever you want to do. I was just having this conversation with a friend earlier. I was just basically saying, you can either have like two choices, like the way our world is today. You can either get off the grid, right? You go like those people who did, like in the show, like Alaskan Bush People or Life Below Zero or one of those type of shows. You go out, you build yourself a little cabin, you chop up your firewood, you shoot a moose, catch a couple salmon, and you're doing your thing. You either live like that, and then you have, or and which has its own set of flaws in the sense of, not being able to get certain, products, or, like healthcare, things like that. I mean, you're basically just out there with snow, moose, salmon, and a fire. I mean, I can sustain, but, it is lacking in certain ways. And then if you're not going to do that, then you're on the other side where you're, basically, I don't want to say a slave to the system, but you're dependent. I mean, we are slaves, but let's, but not to make it sound so hard, where you become dependent on the system. So you're either going to go outside the system, which has its own challenges, and be totally off the grid and alone and outside the box, or you're going to live within the confines of the mainstream society that's built. And now you're stuck in, whatever, how the houses are built, how, the water supply is given. You can only go into a grocery store. They're dependent on what they have to offer. So, it's a lot of stuff like that makes things kind of difficult. So anyway, today's, I didn't say make it kind of difficult, but I meant mean it in a way that no matter what path you take while you're living in this, three-dimensional existence in this physical body, there's always going to be, an upside and a downside to whatever path you choose, which goes back to what I was saying about Course in Miracles. Is the ultimate realization is that you're never going to find perfection in any type of way in this life, because that's just the way it rolls in the 3D paradigm, So Course in Miracles always reminds us, and that's why I talk about attachment so much, and not attaching, and not going down these paths of getting all worked up, no matter which side it is, I mean, like, again, people who, especially with the politics and stuff the way it is today. So, it's easy to get people all going, and believing in something, based on telling them, what triggers them, right? And those are all of us have the responsibility in a sense to remember not to be triggered, or if we are triggered per se, more so as we will be triggered, when we get triggered, we have to realize we've been triggered, and to not let the bullet fly because the trigger went, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to basically, we've been triggered, and then, whoa, I just got massively triggered. I was ready to fly off the handle, and then you can pull it back. You come back to center. You realize you're not attaching. You forgive yourself for that situation. And that's one step closer of relieving yourself of the weight and the heaviness of, of our existence in a sense. So today's episode, ladies and gentlemen, I can't believe we're already talking all this time. I didn't even say our title is, free will hunting. I know we've all heard of the movie Good Will Hunting. And I was just thinking free will hunting, because do we have free will? Where is our free will? Actually, I do believe Well, I believe both. It's a combination. We essentially, I feel, have free will to choose our fate. Because nothing is ever carved in stone. We have our soul contract before we come to this existence, and there's things that were planned. There's things we chose to happen in our lives purposely for our own soul growth. But in this world, we think so easily, especially here in the United States. Everybody is just such a, I hate to say it, but it's just such a cocky country in a sense of so smug and arrogant of thinking just have whatever I want and I do whatever I want, but you're not doing whatever you want, because here's the truth about the free will. And that's why I said free will hunting, because I feel like we're hunting for we're hunting for our true free will, not the free will that you can go to the store and decide, well, today I'm going to buy Coke and tomorrow I'm going to buy Pepsi. That's my choice. I have free will. But they're both like sloppy ass sodas that are going to make you sick and kill you. So you understand what I'm trying to say? We have, excuse me. We have free will within the confines of the parameters that they've given us to have free will. It's not our true, free will, and that's what just shows. And it goes into a whole bunch of things, really. And I guess for whatever reason, it spawned on me, more so with like relationships and such in the beginning, because I was thinking to myself, we think we choose all our relationships in life, our friends, our intimate relationships, whatever, but how much do we choose, and how much is based on, cultural pressures or, perceptions, whatever, your family's your family, you're going to have your family, you're born, and here's the thing too with your family, right? You could be born, obviously you're born and you're in with your family, and maybe your family has their own set of preconceived ideas and what's quote unquote right and wrong and acceptable and all that. So you grow up with all that being blasted into your brain, and then then you have to wind up like proving yourself to these people, right? You're judged, like if you're like, somebody wants to be like, say like, an actor or something, and, and the father's like a businessman and it's like, oh, that's never going to work. And, then you feel like, ostracized like from your own clique in a sense, because you have these other ideas that are not being allowed to flourish because the people that you're depending on to, find solace in to help support you and give you the encouragement, they don't believe it themselves. It's not on their radar, right? So, again, this is like, what is your free will? Are you going to choose your free will to say, well, I don't care what, the family dynamics are. I'm going to break free like I did. I'm going to break free and move to Florida. And I'm done listening to all the bullshit. It's not my family. My family's fine. But, seriously, most people in my family, honestly, are not on my page overall. They whatever think I'm a little off or weird or don't understand my views and, think I'm out there and blah, blah, blah. But like, they're just like really on this like, mainstream way of life, and it is what it is. My mom gives me a break because it's my mom. No one's going to love you. Let me say this as a side note to all the boys and girls out there. No one will ever love you as much as your mommy. And I'm especially saying this as, well, some people have horrible mothers, so I do apologize for those that have, some kind of crazy crackhead mother or something, but in general, especially being from an Italian family and being like, I was the first born, of that generation. Like, so, the mommies, they love their boys, and I always say, you're never going to find a woman that loves you as much as your mommy if you're a man. So, unless you marry, you saw what happened to Oedipus. So just be careful. Don't fall in love with your mom, and don't have any brooches nearby. But seriously, my brother and I have a great relationship, and we're able to talk about all this kind of stuff. And he's going to be coming on the show very soon, actually. I was speaking with him earlier, and I think we're going to actually maybe do tomorrow. So if you're seeing this, come back tomorrow to catch up with my brother and Personalized Wellness Solutions. He's got great information to share for health and wellness, and more steps of levels of understanding to separate ourselves from the confines that we keep ourselves in. But again, going back to the relationship topic just quickly, and aside from your family, then it goes into, now you're broken from your family, basically, right? You're broken from your family, trying to fit in and all that. And you have all those issues that weren't resolved, your mommy, daddy issues. Now you decide, well, now it's time for me to have a family. So you go out, you get a spouse, and you're still broken inside and trying to play out all those dynamics that you had through your childhood that were never resolved. You try to play them out through your relationships, and then here you go. Now you're entangled, in a relationship. You wind up having kids. I'm not saying it's bad. There's plenty of happy people out there, happy couples, all that kind of thing. So it's not, all I'm trying to say is that how the truth, this is why I say about free will hunting, because I'm sorry, I got distracted because of my windows. It's a beautiful day here, by the way, in Florida. I have my windows open, and I heard some loud noises. There's a road out behind not that you need to know all this, but a road behind my place, and sometimes it's a little bit loud. I don't think you're going to hear it on the microphone, but anyway, yeah, so then you're trying to play out those dynamics, and what I'm saying about the free will hunting is that we think we have free will, but the people that are in charge, the powers that be, they know what our true power is, our true essence. So what do? It's always about inverting. It's always about manipulating. It's always about twisting things around. So they make you believe you have free will, right? I mean, you're free just enough to make what you think are choices, but you're not really making choices in a sense, because everything's been programmed into the matrix before you even were born, right? Your parents are already programmed. So then you're born and you are programmed by them. Then you move on and you wind up in some sort of dysfunctional relationships, jobs, whatever the case may be, because everything's broken. The system's broken. The system is designed to be broken. The system is designed for you to never find solace. So you're always chasing the next thing. And that's why, couples will wind up splitting up, or who cheats on somebody. And then you create the same dynamics within your family that you built that were, messing you up as a child, and now you have a child. Now that child's messed up, and and the thing just kind of continues on and on and on. And it's it's not even that. I mean, just think about how much time people spend trying to please other people, right? You feel so guilty if you're at your job, and they're watching me, and I got to do this, that, or that. Or you even go out in public somewhere, go for a walk, or do it. If you're not dressed the right way, or if you're just saying, if you did something that stood out or wasn't in the norm, like why is this person like skipping through the grocery store? Like, nobody skips when you go through a grocery store. You just walk. But when somebody was happy, I just wanted to skip a little bit down the aisles. But that would be like unaccepted, right? So, but that's free will. That's free will. That's your real free will. Skip to the loo, my darling. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Hey-o. I'm energetic here today. Skipping and hopping and having a good time. But yeah, so, where is our free will? And just, really think about it, because I know we all really believe we have free will, and that we're choosing, but it's kind of a muddled thing. There is no time. So everything is kind of one gelatinous. I don't want to say the word. I don't know why I say the word gelatinous, but one, just almost like liquefied, mush of energies that are, interplaying, and everything that could happen is happening. Like I always say this, everything has happened, is happening, will happen again, because there is no time. Basically time is like water. It takes on the form of what you put it in. You put water in a bowl, the water takes the shape of the bowl. You put water in a glass, it takes the shape of the glass. So it's the same thing. Time is merely, just taking on the shape of whatever it is given. And in our particular case, this three-dimensional paradigm, that's how time is perceived. It's perceived as this linear, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds, time is now. Now it's now. What? Now it's not. Now it's now again. Now it's not. Now it's now. You know what I'm saying? So, but in the real now, everything is now. And even when if you're on the other side, you're not seeing just, straight ahead, through these eyes. You're seeing, a total panoramic view. You're able to feel and understand the thoughts and perceptions of others as if you were looking through their eyes, because really we are all one. So it is all through the same eyes, just it seems different. It's just so beautiful and, crazy. But again, these messages that we do here on Operation Status Quo are meant to encourage you and just kind of shake you out of like how we think on a day-to-day basis, and stop. You're not a robot programmed to wake up at 7 a.m. and then you brush your teeth and then you do this and then you have your cup of coffee and then you whatever and then you take the kid to the school and then you go to work and then it's lunchtime. It doesn't have to be that way. And that's, to me, that's the real free will that we're hunting for. That's the real free will that we're hunting for. And not only are we hunting for free will, the powers that be, they are hunting free will. They're hunting taking away our free will. And that's why they've created this whole, basically, shit show of crap, the way our world is, to keep you down. I mean, really to keep you down. Think about it. I know how crazy it sounds, when I talk about some of the stuff of we don't need money, we don't need any of this stuff. I mean, we really, really don't. I mean, imagine how beautiful a world would be where you don't feel like you don't have to get anything. You don't have to get anything more than what somebody else has. There's nothing to get. It's just about being. It's about being, and everything else takes care of itself. Believe it or not, it really does. And that's where we're moving to in this world. So I'm saying these things in a way of trying to encourage you to let go of whatever's going on that you see news-wise, mainstream-wise, Hollywood, all the crap. I mean, it's just all stuff to pull you down. The polluted foods, the Taco Bells, the McDonald's, the Mountain Dews. I mean, it's all just Oreos. I mean, it's just one Netflix. It's all just one thing after the next to pull your energy down and to really take away the real free will that you have to make choices and to find your way back to the oneness that we are. And to kind of wrap it up, just to say, because we're talking about relationships and such, being that we are spiritual beings, what are, who or what you say are the real relationships in our life. I mean, even though we're attached to our families and stuff, people that we know our whole life from that regard, but, in essence, some people in your family could be like, your spiritual family too. But the truth is, like, when you think about people you meet that you just resonate with, that have the same kind of ideas and views, and like where that takes you, and you realize, like, you really have a connection. It doesn't even have to be like a romantic connection, but just in general, you meet people that really vibe on your page, and these are like the people that could be your spiritual family. Like, you have to find, don't waste your time, is what I'm saying, as this world is changing and we're going into new ways of doing everything. There's freedom. There really is freedom. You don't have to leave yourself trapped behind worrying about what's going to happen with money, or is the food chain supply going to shut down, and all these things. Everything's going to work itself out. Like, it really, really is. Everything's going to work itself out. There's growing pains, and it's not just going to be 1, 2, 3, but being aware of like these types of ideas and looking at it from this kind of perspective, you can say to yourself, I have nothing to fear. I'm just going to live in the space of love in my heart. I'm going to engage with those that are, like-minded in a sense, and we resonate on the same level. And that frequency is, the more. This is a real simple thing about it. Nothing exists, nothing exists to get you. Nothing exists. All that exists is like what you believe, so if you're, feeling that, this is going to keep you down, or you can't do that, or blah, blah, blah. That's the energy you're putting out. And if you're thinking that, you're putting it out. And the universe only reflects back to you what you put out. So if you're sitting there saying, I'm always going to be trapped in this job, or I'm always going to be alone, or, I don't know what to do. I'm stockpiling, 32 pounds of beef in my freezer, and I got enough cans to last through 4 nuclear wars, canned food. I mean, I'm all about prepping and, in certain ways, but at the end of the day, like I say before, if a nuclear bomb goes off and the whole city or whatever here gets wiped out, I'm not looking to like, I want to be the survivor with the gas mask, in my basement for 2 years, with loaded up machine guns, trying to shoot off the zombies who want my can of tuna, It's like I always say, just take the can of tuna, let me go. It's okay. I go back home to the other side, free myself of the shackles of this physical entanglement and, be back to oneness. But, you can't be mad either. Let me just say this too. You can't be mad either about, or look at it as, oh, this life is a waste and I shouldn't be here and any of that type of stuff. Because again, we all chose to be here for this time. We chose our paths. We chose the situations in our lives. So, just sit with that and be okay. But like, just knowing that this is the dream and you're here to learn lessons, it's really kind of, peaceful. Even if you have hardships in your life, you can say, it's okay. This is a hardship and it really is a struggle. It really makes me feel a certain way, but I know that I chose this. I know that this is part of my path. So what is this situation? Why is it presented to me? Why acknowledge the feeling and say, what is it bringing me to? What is it that, what do I have to do to find peace with what this is so that, I can, resonate at the higher frequencies. And the more you do that, the more stuff comes into your life. I mean, again, I said in the beginning, everything's cyclical. So it really is. What you put out is what comes back. So, I just say, be all you can be. I gotta be me. You gotta be you too. Let's be me and you. Heyo. Free will hunting. Where is your free will? Think about your free will. I'm going to leave it at this. Think about your free will. How much free will do you really have? Think about it. Think about it. And what does it mean to you? What does free will mean to you? Because we're kind of cocky about it here in certain regards. People get to have a job or they do, and they think, I got this, I do that, I'm better than you, I got this degree, and and all that is, at the end of the day, if they decide to pull the plug tomorrow and all of a sudden the power's out, there's no running water, there's no trucks delivering, food to the supermarkets. I'm not saying it's got to be that cataclysmic or anything, but I mean, really think about it. Like, what are you building as far as your views, your values, what it means to be alive, what each moment means? I mean, as opposed to, those type of things, right? Just like, because once that you strip all that stuff away, what's left? What's left is your neighbor, your neighbor and you. So, it's like, be kind to your neighbor. I think somebody important said, love thy neighbor or something like that, or somebody important. I can't remember his name. Love thy neighbor, do unto others as you would do unto yourself. I don't know. These crazy ideas that just don't make any sense in the satanic society that we're living in. Oh my God. Heyo. And it's funny too. I just I keep saying I'll leave it at this, but I just never understand, and it's a dynamic, it's part of the experience. But the fact that there are people out there that really don't care about people, that really do want to hurt people. I mean, isn't that just like, can you even like get that through your brain? Like, they just don't care. I mean, like, just don't care. And part of it is like, a lot of, those are the higher up people. But I mean, even in your everyday life, you just got so many like, jugheads out there, and I just think to myself, and I don't even want to make it like against them because like, they're programmed, right? Like how many years, like I'm older a little bit. How many years did it take me to realize how much of a big mouth I was like in my 20s, So, I mean, it all is what it is and it's all done for a reason. But, reverence is one of the biggest things I talk about all the time. Reverence, having reverence for the planet, having reverence for one another, having reverence for, what we're given in this life, instead of being so wasteful with, our resources, the way we treat animals for food. And again, I go back to the reverence, like, seeing this poor animal, if nothing against eating meat, whatever, but if the animal's given its life, instead of just being like, oh, give me a couple more nuggets from McDonald's, like reverence, this animal gave its life. I mean, the Native Americans, they prayed over it, they used everything. I'm just trying to say, right? We need, it's a good thing what's happening, people, because as much as it's a little bit inconvenient in certain ways, if you can let go of the fear and embrace the higher powers, like there's really nothing to be afraid of. We're being freed. We're really, really being freed. So, now's the time to embrace that. Be free, free will hunting. Go out there, find your real free will. And, I don't think there was anything else I wanted to say about that. The last thing I had said about your spiritual family and finding real relationships. And it doesn't mean you have to turn away from your family or, current relationships that you're in that are fine. I don't mean anything like that. But, just think about how we're programmed to believe what our relationships are and how the dynamic should flow or what, and, what's really out there. There's like all the people that are, joining together online now for, different, not even just like political, less political stuff I'm talking about, more, although it's great that, there's this truth movement going on because there's a lot of stuff, being revealed and, it's, stuff that's been hidden to us for a long time, stuff that they'll never talk about on TV. But, people are hearing all this stuff now that they never would have believed before. Like, a lot of people aren't going to believe stuff about Obama or, how Oprah Winfrey's trafficking children and, all that type of stuff. People aren't going to believe it, and it sounds like out of whack. Hey, maybe it's not true. Maybe it's not even true, right? But look at it this way: you have to at least. If we're in the right state of mind, as a society, we at least take a look at it and say, not just right away go, oh, that's just insanity. That can never be. That would never happen. Because the devil comes as your friend and they make it look really good. They create a whole dynamic that you want. So you can go to work and sit by the water cooler and talk about, did you see the last episode of Did you see the big game last night? And it's all crap to pollute your brain and keep you down. The way everything's been structured, from our relationships to our jobs to our blah to our blah to our blah to our blah 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 blah, everything, right? So free will hunting. I want to encourage you to go out there and find your free will, hunt for it and choose it, and really make decisions that are based on free will and not fear, and not the free will like, that they think that, free will that they make you believe that you have, because it's much bigger than that. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Operation Status Quo. I'm Pete Palma. Here we observe the status quo, and then we learn to flow with the quo. And most likely we try to flow around the quo a little bit, because you don't want to get caught up in the quo too much, because then you're just a bot. You're just a bot caught in the quo, and we don't need that. There's no flow in being a bot in the quo, and that's faux show. Faux show. All right. Anyway, please don't forget to like, subscribe, share this out to your friends, your family, those you love, those you despise. Click the notification bell so you know when I'm going live. Going live most days, but times may vary. So make sure that you are following along, and drop your comments. Let me know what you're thinking out there, what vibes with you. If you're someone who would like to participate on this program, this is an open forum space. I'm happy to share and have you do the things that you want to do. Do what you want to do. It's your thing. Do what you want to do. And you can do that right here on Operation Status Quo. All right, then, ladies and gentlemen, have a great day. God bless each and every one of you, individually as well as a group. You know how much I love you. Have a great day. Operation Status Quo disengaged.
Boulevard of 10 short blocks.